did a little bit of rearranging in the shop today with my old man. Got the Camaro on the lift. All the junk hiding over there in the corner. Pile of motos. Gonna be working on the Camaro, try to get it running this week. So, see how she goes. Fucking sleeper. I'm just using some old plugs for now. TR55s, they're good for naturally aspirated setup. But if I start spraying nitrous, I got a set of BR7s that I can install in it. And that'll be good to support some decent horsepower numbers. I'm gonna check the gap on these and install them, but basically this is what it is so far. So it's a little bit back together now. Got my injectors and everything all installed. The nitrous setup's already done. Cleaning the intake out. Getting it close. So hopefully a little bit later I'll be able to open up the hood and drop the K-frame. Then I can wheel the K-frame over, cherry pick the motor up, put it on the K-frame, wheel assembly back together, and drop the body down onto the 427. Yeah, 427. Yeah. Used to have an LT1, and it wasn't too bad. It had some hop ups on it. It was a full bolt-on LT1, long tube headers, you know, 3-inch Y pipe. Had a hooker cat back on it. Let me see, cold air intake, the K&N. Had like an airfoil, like that ever did anything, the fucking stupid mods. But yeah, basically it was all stock. I don't think I had anything else. Oh, electric water pump, long tube headers, cold air intake. It was hooker headers to a 3-inch Y pipe to a hooker cat back. So the headers were actually from Jet Hot, but they're a version of the hooker super comps. I tuned the car. The first thing I ever learned how to tune on with a laptop. Had a copy of Tuner Cats and TTS Data Master for logging, and actually I made the cable myself. There used to be a website that you could download the instructions on how to make your own cable. You had to get their little PCB board, and it came with all the resistors and stuff that you could, you know, a square this big, and you could place your resistors and your transistors and your chip and your pins going out and in, and you put some tape over it to hold it in place, flip it upside down, solder all your posts, clip them off, and then you could put it in this little case that it came with. But it had two little terminals that basically you would put into the OBD2 port. It's an OBD1 car with an OBD2 port, so it was like the ground and signal wire. You had a red and a black wire, and you plug it into the OBD2 and you could actually tune with it on the computer. But it was kind of like Russian roulette, because if you tuned it in the software had a glitch, or the computer cut off, your PCM was basically done, as far as I was told. I'm sure there's probably ways to recover it, but I never had any issues with mine. But a friend of mine who had a supercharged Camaro, we were tuning his, and we were using a laptop that had some battery issues, and it was hooked up to a power inverter to keep it going. And we had the laptop come disconnected from the cigarette lighter, and the laptop just shut off. So then we were stuck dead on the road with it. Yeah, first time I ever put long tube headers on that thing. I was running it open headers at like 3 in the morning. Me and my friend Chris, we were working on this car for like probably like a week and a half straight, like every night, just like fighting it, getting the old exhaust out. It was all rusted up. Finally got the long tubes in. Like, we used to have this car sitting up like 2.5 feet off the ground, like with the exhaust all out of it, and like we used to have parties in his garage and stuff, and everybody was just drinking beer around the car, and it was kind of funny because it became more of like a shop decoration. Yeah, when we got it installed, we pushed it up his driveway to the main road, or at least the top of the driveway, and we knew it was going to be loud, so we pushed it as far away from the house as we could, because his parents were inside and they were like sleeping. It was like 3 in the morning, and I turned the key on, and he was in the passenger seat, I was in the driver's seat. I flipped the key on, got it to fire up. As soon as it fired up, it was like just bassy, loud ass open header sound, and I like drove up the road as quietly as I could, but it was like, it's an impossible feat when you have open headers. It's just, just wah, and you're like going 1,000 RPM and all that. And we got to the top of the hill, and then we cruised down by the church, turned around in the church parking lot, and just like hammered it like all the way up. And then we went back up to the top of the hill towards his house, cut the motor off, and I drifted all the way back down into the driveway. And we thought we got away with it. We thought everybody was sleeping, but the next morning we were talking to his parents, and they were like, "Did you guys hear that dump truck just struggling to get up the road last night?" And we just like laughed, because we knew really what happened with it. Oh yeah, that's just temp. But fucking around with that 3D printer. Oh yeah, it's gonna be like